far too careless. Do they not understand that they're completely surrounded by monsters?
Not yet!
Why not? I'm going!
No! One more minute.
I want him on the ropes. Our reputation will get a bigger boost if we swoop in at the last minute. We'll let him get knocked around a little, then save the day, and I'll heal them with magic. It's not just perfect, it's genius.
What's good, anime enthusiasts? Welcome to another set of episodes to look at for Mushoku Tensei, Jobless Reincarnation. Now, these three, episode 11, 12, 13, a lot happens. A lot happens. And one thing that I talked about beforehand, Man God comes back again. And I just can't help but harp on it just a little bit more. And then I think I have another critique about it. So now the cracks of this anime are starting to show, at least holes that I'm personally putting in, probably from bias, probably from my own thinking about it. Nonetheless, I'm still enjoying the ride so far, but now I have to wonder, why are we still doing these kind of things so far, if that makes sense. I am alluding to the fact that all of the sexual and ecchi stuff that's going on, especially with a side character, Elf, that happens as well, which really put the nail in the coffin for me. But anyway, that is all I got so far. What about you, JD? How you doing?
We're coming off onto a good start. This series of episodes that we're covering, I feel like the more I watch, the more I actually just fall in love with the storytelling that goes on here. I'm having a great time. Let's start with that, obviously.
Indeed. Before we get a little bit further in that, I do want to highlight a comment that was on the previous episode, to where I talked about how full animalistic bipedal animal demons could have really been like beast folk and all that good stuff. And somebody put down a comment of an explanation that is cut info. Now, I don't know if it's cut info for like it was in the novel, was in the manga, but then was cut for the anime because it's probably too much information, or it was cut from the original work as well because it's also probably too much information. But I'll put the comment on the screen, and it's a really enlightening, and I have a better understanding, and now I can be calm about why some demons, a lot of demons, look more humanoid than others, why beast folk are the way they are, and it's fine. It's okay. That fire has died down, but my other fires, I'm about to blaze them up. Anyways, speaking of, let us get into the first episode, episode 11, Children and Warriors. The beginning of this episode is quite interesting. It's actually Roxy walking through a destroyed village, which we then later to figure out it's Rudeus's home village. And she walks around trying to find them, and then she checks out the wall, the list of the dead, and she's relieved that Paul's family isn't on there. And then a dwarf and an elf walk up behind Roxy, and they comment about how Paul's still alive. And then we get into like an expositional dump that Paul wrote a letter to whoever or wherever this is posted. We don't really know, but he does talk through it. Highlights over there is that Zenith, Lilia, and Aisha are missing, but Paul has Norn, and he addresses a bunch of people in the letter, which to me thinks that he just set this out across the lands, hoping that'll hit somebody. He says that he believes that Rudeus, if he's reading it, can reach home by himself, and Paul won't search for him. And he also points out that anyone... Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Oh, Paul himself is in the Milis continent, Zena's homeland. And then Paul sends a call to action for everyone else who's looking at it, that if you're searching for my family, or even the former members of the Fangs of the Black Wolf, here's where I am. And Paul does something interesting, that he acknowledges his own wrongdoings and even says his fortune is gone. He doesn't have a reward. All he wants is his family back. And then he gives the where you should write to if you need any information, the party name, and the clan he's part of. So right off the bat, Paul he does care about his family, even though he is who he is. But back to Rudeus and Eris and Ruijerd. They're on a slaying job in the petrified forces. They don't know who the mysterious monster is, but they're looking for it. In the forest, they see an interaction between the Tukarabu toughs and another party. It seems like the guild has booked 3 parties for the same job, or maybe a similar job relating to this mysterious monster. And the 2 parties head off, while one of them, with the big giant pig guy, was saying, hey, don't bother following us. We got this job. Don't worry about it. Because they want the money. Ruijerd wants to help out the toughs because he's worried about them because they're children. Rudeus says no, because there's a chance that your cover is going to get blown. Through some back and forth, Rudeus reluctantly agrees and they follow the toughs. While tailing them, 2 monsters pop out and they corner the toughs. Ruijerd was like, hey yo, let's jump in, let's help them out. But Rudeus is like, hold on. They aren't that desperate yet. Let them, tough it out. We'll see what happens. And then internally, Rudeus is laying out his perfect plan. Yeah. Let them get desperate, and when we jump in, they'll be happy to see us. They'll be fine, and they'll up the reputation. And then you just see the body of the bird flying through the air, bloody, makes a blood splatter against a tree and falls dead. And so Ruijerd and Eris jump in to enact the perfect plan, killing both of the monsters, and Ruijerd and Rudeus have a falling out. After that, the leader of the toughs intervenes. His name's Kurt, and he talks down Ruijerd, saying, hey, we aren't really children, we're adventurers, we knew the risk, it's our fault for coming out here. Ruijerd does calm down a bit, and he kneels down to Kurt and says, I acknowledge you as a true warrior. So out of that, they see the 2 adventurers off, and we go to another altercation that's happening in the forest. We see the 3rd party as they get utterly wiped by a red-hooded cobra, which is a mysterious monster. The party strings into action, defeat the monster, and we get back into town. The party is stopped by the horse guy, who's been berating them and talking them down this whole entire time they've been in the Adventurers Guild, saying, hey, I found about your job trading shenanigans. So if you don't want to get found out, you give me half of what you make every month and we cool. Rudeus, in his mind, weighing the pros and cons of what he should do about everything. And then he's like, you know what? It's fine. It's okay. I don't care anymore. If I want to get Eris home, I am willing to do anything, especially destroying this whole entire town. So while the clouds of his strongest spell appear, Ruijerd notices. He takes a pail of water, dumps it on himself, reveals that he's a soup rat, grabs the horse guy, threatens him to death, and he runs off. The party chases after Ruijerd. Both Ruijerd and Rudeus have a heart-to-heart where Ruijerd's like, hey, I noticed you were willing to kill, so I'll treat you as a warrior. The next morning, Ruijerd shaves his head. He gets a bandana and his 3rd eye, which is the gem, and the episode ends. My God, JD, Ruijerd versus Rudeus. Matter of fact, Rudeus, why? He was so in his head about everything. And now I like this, because now this is like a jab at the isekai trope, to where the main character is so overpowered, can get through literally anything and everything just by not really trying. And if he tries and he kind of fails, or looks like he fails, he'll succeed anyway. This is reality. He's in over his head. He's thinking too much. He let somebody die. And then in town, he's thinking everything has been going wrong. Everything is going to crap. You know what? Screw everything. I'm going to kill everyone so that we just get out of here and not deal with everything. I like that.
This is okay. If anybody here has played League of Legends, this is that moment where your top laner is fighting 2v1 up top right? He has a lifesteal build. He's going down to like 2 HP every couple of seconds, and you think, that guy is dead, so I'm not going to touch him. Or on the opposite end, that guy is going to live no matter what. I don't need to help him so soon. I'll finish my like gromp before I go up and help him, right? Only to watch that guy get one shot brutally. And I'm in the same position as Rudeus here. I didn't think that we're going to get one shot instantly by the giant monster or anything like that. I thought the plan was going to work out just fine. And to be honest, I'm also with Rudeus. I'm also crawling on the floor, unable to really help as my two boss party members, Eris and Ruijerd, just clean up for us. I feel like it's hard to recover from a mistake that massive, especially one that's permanent, like the one Rudeus makes. It's, God, I would have crashed out a little bit too.
Man, I'm with Ruijerd, man. I'm like, hey, yo, because listen, when you look at the toughs, they don't even show their weapons or anything. They just run around. It looks like they got caught in a bad place, you know? And me and Ruijerd, I'm like, wait, hold on. This is kind of like wrong here. They don't look that strong. You should go out there. Because, in the previous episodes, Eris just one-shotted them. Eris one-shotted them. And then now it's like, yeah, your perfect plan is there, but you don't know when desperation is going to hit. It definitely hit when one of them died, I'll tell you that. But, God.
No, definitely real. I think part of me wants to be like, oh, these guys are clearly ranked for this mission, because how else would they be here, right? But then you see Rudeus' party here too, and they're not technically ranked for this, even though they have the capability to do it. What a life. No, seriously, how did they get out here?
Man, they just did.
And the fact that the other party also gets wiped out by the monster that they were actually here to hunt, right? Because the first group was taken out by monsters that they weren't actually here to hunt.
Yeah, it's no, this just could be anime logic to where, yeah, you give the main characters a little bit of trouble and they get to do things. Haha, heard her. But it also could be the fact that the area around the demon continent is very volatile. The mortality rate is high. Adventuring is a deadly job. You either make it or you don't.
No, definitely. Curious question for you.
Yeah.
So as I watched Rudeus sort of spiral after being placed, or no, what's the word for it? Blackmailed by the horse demon, right? All I could really think was how ironic it was that the flip completely scripted on him, or a script completely flipped on him, right? Do you think Rudeus is gonna become like more thuggish down the line as a result of this?
I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say no. I think this is I'm gonna say no, but there's some interesting things that are at play here. So there is possibly a disconnect between Rudeus and the MC, or at least what the MC believes is right, because while he's telling Ruijerd to, hey, leave everything to me, hey, let me think things through, and he's like, hey, I don't want you to do anything to ruin your reputation or ruin the Super's reputation, I'll take the full brunt of it. He is now acting like Ruijerd, to where he's desperate enough to do the extreme, which is to level an entire city. You shouldn't do that, but that's his thing. And it's all the fact that I just need to get Eris home. I don't think you need to go that far, Rudeus, but like I said, the circumstances that he's been put into makes sense. He just let somebody die underneath his watch. And in the previous episode, he had to start from the bottom of getting like the cat job, and then under his watch another person died, but that was by Ruijerd. But these are situations that he can't control. He has no say over. He's I think possibly at this point he is now starting to realize how little influence that he has in the real world. And if he wants to do anything extreme, he needs to do the extreme. He needs to wrest control through violence and death and other things, which is the start of a villain arc for
Straight up, indeed, brother. Looking back on that, like, scene specifically, him saying, like, oh, I'll just wipe out the city, even if that means betraying Ruijerd, I'm like, okay. First things first, Rudeus, you still can't look at dead bodies. What do you mean you're gonna kill all these people? I don't think he was gonna go that far, even if he was really, really desperate.
I don't know, man. Them clouds in the sky said otherwise.
God, I think that'll just be the, would he have done it? The red flag that remains in the back of my mind the whole time. The rest of the anime, I guess.
Yeah. But I will say, the heart-to-heart that they had at the end of it was nice. It was Ruijerd recognizing the desperation that Rudeus does have in order to get Eris home. Or at least he understands that Rudeus has that dog in him. And they had that heart-to-heart. And Ruijerd, explains what it means to have pride. And even though he himself, Rudeus, and then by proxy, the MC, doesn't understand what pride is, which is also a nice touch to describe the NC as well, because we all know the MC before he was how he was before he got here. You can definitely tell that he didn't have an ounce of pride in him. He was just a bum. But now here he is meeting somebody and interacting with somebody that does have that warrior's pride, that mentality. He himself, as a child and as a grown adult, can't understand it, but it's nice to have that approval that somebody is on his side.
Word. I will say, the one thing at the end of Ruijerd and Rudeus' heart-to-heart, there's so many R names. Those two heart-to-heart, is they both say, oh, I acknowledge that you are stubborn and you never learn anything. And then the next two episodes happen.
I swear to God, they say it and it happens. And you're like, well, what can you do? Which, of course, I'm not going to lie to you. These 3 episodes, it's always a constant fight between Ruijerd and Rudeus. Constantly. They can't see eye to eye. And if one reluctantly agrees with the other, it feels like they're like shedding a part of themselves that they don't want to shed. We'll get more to that in episode 12, but that's what it is.
No, definitely. Ruijerd going bald is pretty cool.
Yeah, Eris saying, that looks good on him. Yeah, Ruijerd has that warrior monk style, which honestly, he does look better without the hair. I'm not gonna lie to you. He does look more badass.
No, for real. I want to put him straight in the Naruto and power skill.
Nah, put him in Bleach. Give him a nice Zanbakuto.
Oh, dude, that would go so crazy.
Oh, fuck. No, that's the name of his sword. Bankai, that's what I meant.
Bleach fans, if you're in the comments, bro, please design Ruijerd a cool Bankai for us. Thank you very much.
While y'all doing that, we will move on to episode 12, The Woman with the Demon Eyes. So, a pretty chill episode as far as concerned. Not a whole lot happens. There's like 4 different events that happens, well, in between a lot of character interactions that don't really mean much, but it's nice details. So the party does reach the ocean and they head to a coastal city. And after the intro of them going to the coastal city, you also see that Roxy's party has also reached the city. Also, by the way, at the end of episode 11, they do tease that Roxy's party is coming into the city. And this is Roxy actually entering the city. And while Rudeus' party is talking to the dock master, or like one of the ship masters, Roxy's party is like behind them, like literally like a couple 100 feet out, but they don't really cross. But while Rudeus' party is talking to the dock master, they found out that, to ferry Ruijerd over to the Millis continent, they need 2,000 green ochre coins. That's a lot of money. Probably like hundreds of thousands, if not like millions of dollars, if we convert it to USD. So what can they do? They need the ways to make money. So they sleep on it. MC meets Man God once more, and they talk it out. Interesting thing about this conversation is that Man God does acknowledge that Rudeus could have done things differently, like turning the pet kidnapping party in, and that way he could bond with Ruijerd more, but it was fun for him watching Rudeus make the other choices that put him in a situation. So it sounds like Man God has an idea of what will happen next when he gives the advice, but it's up to Rudeus to decide how he goes about it. I'm still mad, but the next piece of advice is buy food from a street vendor and take a walk through the back alleys. So the next day, we get a training scene with Eris and Ruijerd, and Ruijerd gets distracted because he sees Roxy. We'll come back to that in like episode 13. The next, also during the same day, Rudeus does what Man God said. And he tells himself, I'm going to do exactly what he said to tell me to do and not do anything else. I don't want to give him any kind of entertainment from me doing otherwise. So he goes through the back alleys. Roxy passes through him, behind him, so they don't really meet. We'll come back to that in episode 13. And Rudeus does come across a person that's in rags. They got a bunch of flies around them because they're stinky and they're in need of help and they're hungry. But us, if you remember episode 8, you know who that is by the voice. And after eating, the great emperor of the demon world, Kishirikia Kishiru, introduces herself in the most anime moe way. And while Rudeus doesn't believe it, he plays along, which pleases the great emperor. And then they go through... Wait, hold on. Before that, important detail. Her eyes change and she can tell that Rudeus isn't anyone like she's seen before. She even says, "What are you?" And after that, they go through the whole anime ecchi nonsense of, hey, you saved me, I'll do anything that you want. And it's the genie thing. You give a wish, but the genie can't exactly do it because of X, Y, and Z. And so they settle on giving Rudeus a demon eye, the Eye of Foresight. Also about the great demon emperor. The great emperor has 12 eyes within her, and she can see through anything. Hence why she noticed something was strange about Rudeus, which maybe she recognizes Rudeus as an isekai person, but she can't put her finger on it, on what it is. But as Rudeus has the Eye of Foresight through an interaction in the city and training with it with Eris and Ruijerd, he's able to see at least 1 second ahead in the future if he channels his mana well. He beats Eris in a training session, which makes her sad. And afterwards, at that very same night, Rudeus still down on the whole party, still down on luck. They need money. Rudeus attempts to sneak out with his staff, but Ruijerd stops him. This is their next heart to heart, and they talk about money, Eris, the value of the gift, that being Rudeus' staff, and the necklace that Roxy gave him. Not trusting or relying on Ruijerd, and Rudeus doing everything himself, and Rudeus deflecting everything, trying to stay calm. Ultimately, Ruijerd says he'll follow and help, and he'll turn a blind eye to all the evil that he sees and what Rudeus will do. And then a dude that Rudeus saved in a previous interaction with his Eye of Foresight pops up, introduces himself as Gallus Cleaner, and the episode ends. JD, I gotta ask you.
Shoot.
Rudeus is not following Man God's first piece of advice. Rely on the man that you see when you wake up. It's coming to a head. I don't know if the writer saw that ahead and planted that seed and this is what bears from it, but it's such a good thing that I hate it because it comes from Man God, but it's so good. The whole entire time, Rudeus has been doing everything himself, and he's not following the first thing. Rely on Ruijerd. Rely on him, and not even rely on him for combat or anything. Rely on him for advice, because Ruijerd wanted to save the children. What happened to the bird guy? He died. Rely on Rudeus. Like, he can kill things. He has an opinion. He is another person to use. Yet he's not using Ruijerd, the demon. Use him. Ruijerd has the whole entire time has been talking to you, Rudeus, about things, asking you questions. Yet you keep putting him off, telling him like, hey, yo, let me handle it. You're doing too much. And you're in this situation because of that. Dang it, I hate how good it is.
I'm glad you like brought that up, especially because I forgot that was Man God's very first thing he said to Ruijerd, right? And hearing that again really puts it into perspective that Rudeus really is just separating himself from the party to do these things, right? Like even Eris, when they're having lunch after talking to the boatmaster, they're like, "Hey, I'll try to think of something too. Will we ever get to hear it? Will Rudeus ever hear her out? No, because he's already off doing something because the Man God said it."
Exactly. Eris is so blind to everything. Like, she is in the dark. She is completely in the dark. And she's just following around like a lemming. Yet, you know, she doesn't really ask any questions. She has full faith and trust in Rudeus. And that's a scary thing, especially when he lets somebody die in front of your eyes.
I think the thing that kills me is, like you said, I wish he would have that same amount of faith back in both Ruijerd and in Eris, even though Eris is his charge, right?
Yeah, like, even though Eris doesn't know much, I'm pretty sure she might have like some off the wall idea that you probably don't want to do, but her idea might give you a different way to look at a problem and be like, you know what, that doesn't make sense, Eris, but what if we did this, which is similar to what you're doing, but it's actually better? That way Eris's idea is valid, you know, that sort of thing. But
I'm actually kind of curious. Seeing this episode 12 specifically, the spar between Ruijerd and Eris, Roxy is hiding in the background. Well, for me, how did she know to be there? I had this theory that maybe the necklace that Rudeus gave to Ruijerd that was actually for Rudeus has some sort of like tracker in it, or like some magical energy that's like, oh, this will help me find my way to you no matter where we are, or something like that. And maybe it wasn't just a good luck charm.
So we'll put a bit of 13 in here because it just happens, because this is the beginning of episode 13 is like Roxy's point of view of things. So adding that bit in here is okay. Roxy at this point is like looking for information on the Mad Dog, the Kennel Master, and I forgot what Ruijerd's actual nickname was.
Guard Dog.
The Guard Dog, yeah. She is looking information on them, and eventually she does find them. So it just happenstance, you know. It's also that happenstance that she passed by Rudeus as she was like running off from the actual thing that was happening. So yeah, it's just like that whole coincidence kind of thing that Roxy's been in the city the entire time, and they just completely missed them each and every time.
Brutal. I normally hate threads like this, but I think this one, it's just realistic enough since they don't know Rudeus' actual name and all the dead end rumors. Kind of fucked up. I'd be pissed.
Yeah. But hey, they are good nicknames. I ain't gonna lie to you. Mad Dog Eris makes sense. Guard Dog Ruijerd makes sense. Kennel Master, sure, but it's funny.
My guys hold that whole crew together. I would take it, even if they didn't get my name right. I do want to talk about this demon eye that Rudeus has now.
Bro.
He just mollywops Eris immediately after getting it. What the fuck?
Because he's able to see the future, at least 1 second of it.
Eris, I feel so bad for Eris during this sequence. Like the whole night she's just like, man, I thought I was catching up. And then you come out of nowhere with these demon anime powers to beat me.
Bro, I'm not gonna lie. Eris's whole side thing of her growing to be like a better adventurer, a better warrior, or whatever, a better fighter or whatever, it's so good, because right now she is like a real side character, a background character while they're on the demon continent, and this whole entire time quietly she's been trying to get better, like fighting with Ruijerd. That moment where she succeeded in getting that kick and she was so excited and happy, I was excited and happy for her. And then now at this point to where the person that she has full faith in, the person she's trying to catch up to, has gotten a power boost, and now they are farther away from her because they soundly defeated her so easily, even after her trick, after they technically won the first time. I felt so bad for Eris. I was like, right now, you are my favorite character, my only favorite character, and I'm sorry that this had to be done to you, Eris. But, you know, the main characters, they got to get stronger at some point.
No, definitely. And you know, okay, we know Eris is freaking tough. You know, she can get up there. She's probably like A rank swordmaster, whatever the terminology is there. Just like outright from her time in the Demon Continent, right? I think she could wipe the floor with a lot of the people we see like on the day, right?
Yeah.
I think Rudeus' sort of reflection about it being like, oh, I can't believe I used this toy to just break Eris' spirit really resonated with me because it's like you just opened a canyon for fun, you know, between you and her.
Indeed. It's also a way for Rudeus to finally fight in actual combat. So now he can actually use a sword himself, because like with Paul and with Ghislaine, he just could not keep up, and he's more of a mage than anything. But now he can be like a spell mage. Not a spell mage, a spell sword, that's what I meant.
What do you think of the actual like demon eye power? Because I think that thing is definitely a curse. I don't trust man god, but this seems like the exact thing Rudeus would pour a lot of energy into just to find everything being like a dead end, quote unquote.
I believe our Lord and Savior, the great Emperor of the Demon War, Kish Kish Man. By the way, that's my nickname for her. I'm not saying a full name. I'm calling her Kish Kish. And it sounds funny. No, go ahead.
Do you think she got us? She got us? We good?
Yo, we got her. So the eye, I think it's fine. I think it's just one of those things that honestly, I don't know. I think the man god probably did see ahead for this situation, and now it's kind of up for Kish Kish to. I think it was on Kish Kish to give a certain eye or whatever it might be. And now I have to think, if Rudeus meets Kish Kish again, will he get another eye or some other thing? Because now he has like a demon emperor on his side whenever he needs it. Because she did say, hey, yo, if you ever need help, call me.
And, you know, with this anime specifically, there's never a single wasted character. This person will come back if they said they're coming back, you know?
Foreshadowing is crazy in this anime. When they say something will happen, it will happen. Speaking of foreshadowing, Dear God, episode 13, Missed Connections. Okay, so in the beginning, the first half of the episode is about Roxy's party, like banding together to look for Paul's family and gather information. There's Talhan the dwarf, there's Elenis, the elf, and there's Roxy. And this is supposed to mirror the previous episode from Roxy's point of view. As we said before, Roxy saw Ruijerd and Eris in their training. Roxy also passed by Rudeus as he was walking through the alley. Key points of this whole entire first half is the fact that Roxy used to be in a party while on the Demon Continent, which, by the way, the horse guy from before that blackmailed the party was one of them. And there is like this humanoid looking character, but also the big pig guy was also part of Roxy's party. He's dead. So I can't wait for Roxy to get to that town and figure out that, oh God, pig guy's dead. Horse guy is scared of the soup bread. And then I don't know about the third guy, which I did point this out to JD before we started recording, that I hope this blonde guy isn't Almanfi, secondhand to Pergus from episode 8. I hope not. Their hair doesn't match, but I swear it'd be hilarious. But anyway, Roxy, well, things happen throughout the thing, but the final thing that I want to touch on is while the Roxy's party is leaving, Roxy has a dream, or like her ideal scenario of finding love. She says that one day, foreshadowing, a tall, slim young man who's manly but still makes childish expressions will save her by chance in the depths of a labyrinth. Then we'll team up, and as we work together, love will bloom between us. Foreshadowing, that's Rudeus. Cut and dry. We'll leave it at that. back to
Wait, whoa. Are we going to cut that quick? That quick?
Yes, it has to be that way, man. It has to be. It from the beginning of Roxy being with Rudeus and saying, hey, in a couple of years, try saying I'm cute, I'm beautiful again. Then we'll talk about it. And then now she has this. This makes sense, man. It's so obvious. It can't be anybody else.
You know, I gotta trust the the famous Mushoku Tensei foreshadowing.
It's so there. But from there, the second half of the episode is Rudeus and the others. They manage to smuggle Ruijerd across thanks to Gallus Cleaner. And exchange for getting Ruijerd across, they need to liberate some smuggled goods at Zantport. Once they reach the port, things happen, and Rudeus goes alone to find Ruijerd because Eris gets seasick. In the smuggler's den, in the prison, they have beastfolk children and the big dog. One of the kids get wasted for being too loud, and while Rudeus is freeing Ruijerd, Ruijerd's like, yo, we need to save these children. And Ruijerd is way too good for his own kind. So Rudeus is like, aight. So when Ruijerd gets loosed, he catches every single body he can. While that's going on, Rudeus heals up the kids and they get escorted out. But the kids were like, hey, there's one more of us. And Rudeus goes back for the big dog, frees the dog, plays around with the dog because the dog has nice fur. And unfortunately, he gets mistaken for a smuggler as a grown beastfolk guy comes in, sees that he's playing with their sacred beast, and he roars, incapacitates Rudeus in the most brutal way possible. Not brutal. It's fun to see when a roar attack happens, even though it doesn't do any damage physically, or you see the body move, just somebody falling out, like being stunned and incapacitated. So cool. Also, like I said, the big dog is sacred beast to the beast folk, and Rudeus is taken away to face the harshest punishment from the beast folk. My brother in Christ. Let me get this bad thing out of the way first, and then we can talk about everything else, the good thing. Seeing the elf do her thing and gathering information, I am now getting bored of all the sexual stuff that's happening. And now I'm seeing that there's no point to it anymore. When Paul does it, and when Rudeus and MC does it as well, you're like, oh yeah, it's like, this is the beginning. This is the system shock to you. This is how it's supposed to be. The more that they do it, the more perverted things that they do, you get shocked a little bit less and less and less and less. You then get to that famous barn scene and you're like, "Urgh." And then you see Saros do it and you're like, you know what? That makes sense. Big guy, but you know, it happens. And then the bedroom scene happens. You're like, oh my God, what is going on? And then throughout this whole entire thing in the demon continent, and then you get to the elf doing her thing. Now at this point, I'm like, I don't want to see this anymore, man. Can we just move on? Can we save these precious few seconds in screens for like actual story, please? Do you feel the same way, or am I just like getting so jaded by the fact?
I think you are a little jaded, I'm not gonna lie. It does, like we said in like previous episodes, I'm developing a tolerance for these things. I don't really mind it so much now. I think it's almost kind of refreshing how forward they are with like these things. I will say Ellen Elise, which is the only time I'm gonna say her name because oh my God, that is so many syllables.
Yeah.
She was hoeing so hard.
Yeah.
Like every time on frame, just back to back to back. I'm like, okay, wow.
Yeah. Okay. Here, let me put it like this. When Elaine does it, nothing happens. Quite literally, nothing happens. I think when she does it, it's literally just fan service. There's no point to it. You could just say she does that, don't show it, and that's whatever. Now, I'm probably gonna sound very hypocritical at this point in time, but you know, it is what it is with this kind of nonsense. When Paul does it, it has an unfortunate purpose. You know, Lilia gets pregnant. For some reason, it's part of Paul's character, which is also part of Elaine's character, that he is too horny for his own good, and he done all these things, and Zenith is somehow okay with it. Either she she is okay with it, or she just doesn't know about Paul's like previous bodies that he's caught. And when Rudeus does it, that unfortunately makes sense because of his character and from what he's done in the past, or what his past is and what his mind is like and his mental state. While it does happen, it's like, I don't want to see it anymore, man. Or it happens and it's like, all right, okay. Like, I guess the short of it is like, when Paul and Rudeus does it, there's some kind of inkling of purpose, and it kind of moves the story along because it interacts with like key characters, and it adds a bit to the story, the tension and whatnot. But when Elaine does it, there's no reason. Well, there is a reason, but nothing comes of it. It's just there. It happens. Now, if you want to call out the kiss scene, this is fan service turned up to 11. This is comedy. This is something. Yes, I am making an exception to this because of the fact, but it's a too funny of a scene, and I hate how I'm like defending it, but you know, this is if you're into ecchi and you understand stuff, hopefully you can understand where I'm coming from.
Dang, bro.
I know, man. I get passionate because I don't want to say like I'm an elitist and I'm right, but I'm trying to make a case for like these things. But I'm gonna leave it there. I'm gonna leave it there before I out too many people.
I'm gonna pull up just for a second. I will say, a lot of these more sexual, like lewd scenes, these joke scenes, I think the reaction to it is really what you gotta focus on if you are uncomfortable with like the sexual, like blue humor nature of the show, right? Like when Ellen Elise said it twice on the goat, has their what are we gonna call it? Coitus moment with those groups in the alleyways, those people. And Roxy immediately just blasting out the room, breaking the wall with like ice spikes. I was like, oh my god, let's go. And the moment with Kish Kish and Rudeus, where immediately after she's like about to offer her body to him, she instead goes, oh no, I can't. Also, let me give you this instead. And then you get the most violent looking scene of her popping his eye and putting in the old demon one. It's those subversions you gotta look forward to, you know? If you're really not feeling the blue humor in itself.
Yeah, I get that. It's just I'm gonna stop before I go too hard about it. I get you. We got it there. More importantly, on Rudeus's side of things, quite unfortunate that he is getting mistaken for the smugglers, but you know, you mess around with the dog, as I'm pretty sure every single one of you that loves dogs or loves animals or love pets, all of you would get caught as well. I'm not gonna lie to you, anybody would. And you're like, no, it's the goodest boy ever, he's so nice, and then you just get caught. What are you gonna do? Huh?
Bro, the dog was being so polite too. The dog jumped on Rudeus, you know what I mean? What was he gonna do? Be like, no boy, and like send him flying to the roof or something like that? No, that's just not happening, dude.
Every single person's getting shot except for me. I do the job and that's it, period. I don't need time to like, you know, play around. No, come on.
Let's see.
Honestly, that was kind of it.
What I wanted to talk about.
Episode 13 as well, to be honest. I don't think there's anything else worth talking about. No, not really.
I will say, end of episode 12, right? The smuggler that Rudeus saved offers them the ability to get smuggled onto the ship like they asked for, or to smuggle Ruijerd on the ship. I like the fact that Ruijerd and Rudeus sort of compromise on this so that they don't have to sell Rudeus's very expensive custom-made staff specifically given to him by Eris, right? And then in the next episode, Ruijerd and Rudeus have another one where it's like, Rudeus, I need to kill all these people. And Rudeus is like, no, bro, you don't have to do this. I got your back, bro. And he's just like, no, bro, you don't really have to. Let me handle it. I got you, right? And they're sort of like, not necessarily working together regarding this, but they are communicating their like expectations, right? Rudeus will turn a blind eye to Ruijerd's like extrajudicial justice. Oh my god, extrajudicial justice. And Ruijerd will turn away from Rudeus's, let's say, what's the right word for it? scheming, I guess.
Yeah, no. It is both of them coming to terms that Ruijerd agreed to be smuggled because, all right, it's nigh impossible to get this amount of money to get me across. I will do as I said, turn a blind eye to doing all of this so that we can move on. And now it's on the flip side where Rudeus is like, you know what? I'll turn a blind eye so you can do your thing. And as Rudeus has learned from the bird kid, nobody else needs to die. Because one of the kids already died anyway. And Rudeus is like, you know what, Ruijerd, go crazy. And he went crazy. So now it's, in a way, it is a good compromise, but in a worse way, you can say it's a parasitic, symbiotic relationship that they have, which is good.
I think it's good for them, right? I wouldn't be comfortable with it, but like it works for them, man.
Yeah.
Well, when they're not getting kidnapped.
Oh, it's also for Rudeus to not bloody his hands, and so that he doesn't have to feel the pain of killing people. Because Ruijerd also probably doesn't want Rudeus to start killing because he knows, hey, he probably might just level this entire place like he almost did with that Wind Demon City.
Do you think Ruijerd knows like Magic Ball that much?
No, but he can sense Rudeus' desperation. So if Rudeus was going to go at it, or Rudeus had a weak sense of it, Ruijerd will probably just step in and be like, I'll handle it, little bro.
Ruijerd he's such like a good character study if you want to play like a paladin in D&D or something like that.
He's gonna die.
No, chill. Yo, chill. Bro, if he dies, no, okay. If he dies in season 3, right? But not anytime soon. You know what I mean?
He's gonna die. I don't know. Okay. Let me do my call shot here. So if I was watching this now in season 1, would I think he would die in season 1? So I think Ruijerd it's Ruijerd's mission to get them home. So he's probably gonna follow them all the way. Does he die in season 1 or at the end of the season? I want to say no. No, you know what? Let me go to a better judgment. I'll say yeah. He dies by the end of season 1 at some point. He'll die in season 1. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
Damn, I just can't see it. Man, if he does die in season 1, just put him in Naruto. It'll be fine.
He's a soup red, man. Remember all the rumors? Somebody's going to kill him. Somebody more powerful than, Rudeus and them to put together.
Nah, bro, he's got it. He's got the camouflage on, right? All he has to do is shave his head again, and he'll be all good, bro.
What are you talking about? Ghislaine exists. What if they beat Ghislaine, and then Ghislaine's like, hey, yo, what the Cypher doing there? And dude, Rudeus is like, oh, no, he's cool. And then she does her judgment cut, and then knocks out Rudeus, and then bodies Ruijerd. I mean, we still don't know how strong Ruijerd is, to be honest. For real. We don't know if he can go toe to toe with Ghislaine. I don't think he can.
We do know he has like some man. I'm not gonna manifest this fight happening, but we do know he can jump like half across the city on his own.
Yeah, he can. But can he goes against Ghislaine? That's my thing. Can he even fight against Almanfi, Lightning Boy, the Radiant?
Oh God.
Can he even go toe to toe with scumbag Paul?
Oh, dude, he sweeps Paul, bro. Let's not put Paul in this discussion, bro. He's dying by the end of season 1. I'm saying that for real. That's my season 1 death.
Oh no, man. If Paul can go toe to toe with Ghislaine, and he's like master rank or like the highest rank possible in all 3 sword styles. It sounds like he could probably take on Ghislaine toe to toe. Almanfi as well. I think Ruijerd's at the bottom of the totem pole here.
Oh hell no! Yo, people in the comments, please help us break up this discussion. Please lie to me. Tell me my boy Ruijerd's on top, even if he isn't.
Yo, thank God Ruijerd doesn't have a wife or a girl, because Paul will probably knock out Ruijerd. He's like, I'm gonna take your wife and your girl.
Oh my God, not Paul, bro.
He don't lie to me. He would.
He would. I know, bruh. Wait, yo, okay. I thought about this now that you said that. I gotta bring her up. The elf, I forgot her name. I'm not looking at it anymore. Can't say the third time. Rest in peace.
Elaine, Paul, and her. Yes, they did.
No, 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 not
Oh,
that. But her party is sort of like not necessarily quote unquote accepting of her promiscuity, but they don't seem to have that same level of like disrespect towards her as they do towards Paul, who is most notably the biggest player anybody has seen ever, right? So I wonder like if they have some sort of like understanding with her that like makes her different from Paul, or if Paul is
um,
just like the hate tank, you know what I mean, where he tanks all the hate.
Paul is most likely the hate tank. I mean, even though he is like the hero, quote unquote, he's done so many heinous things because he's part of the Grey Rat family that he's tolerated and he's recognized as a scum, and he's just like a punching bag for everything. If anything, Roxy's just a breath of fresh air.
Kind of true. That for sure.
With that being said, y'all comment down below about anything about these three episodes, and especially the discussion of how far bottom on the bottom of the totem pole that Ruijerd is against all the other characters that we've seen so far. No spoilers. This is just, hey, this is like Dragon Ball Z power scaling, man. We're just throwing characters and discussing and see what's going on.
Yeah, man, no rules. Just slander anybody you feel like, bro. So long as Talhand is somewhere like at the top of the list, I think we'll be good. Just put dwarves on top in general. You know what I mean?
Bro has not done a single thing except drink beer. He is a stereotypical dwarf.
He's perfect. That's how you know he's OP as fuck.
By the way, y'all, if y'all have not noticed yet, this is the first instance of JD talking about dwarves. Dwarves is his favorite race in all of fantasy. The one and only race that he thinks is superior. That's unfortunate for him. But, you know, it's okay to be wrong.
Yeah, that's why I show grace to like everybody else. You know what I mean? The JD stands for just dwarven. If anybody cares,
Not just dumb.
expect to hear a lot of this. Wait, what'd you say? What'd you
What?
say, young man?
I said not just dumb.
Oh no, he repeated it. No, you see how he does me, y'all? I can't believe this.
It's okay.
My feelings.
It's okay. They'll come back. If nothing else, y'all, hope all of you have a good day, night, evening, morning, wherever you are in the world. And I hope your day is just a little bit better than it already is. With that, we'll catch y'all in the next episode. Peace.
See y'all later.